Welcome to John's Maths book. In this video, we're going to be solving quadratic equations by completing the square where the coefficient of the x squared term, a, is greater than 1. If you like these videos, then please like, share, subscribe, and comment. A quadratic equation in its standard form is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. To complete the square, we need to convert it to the form y is equal to a multiplied by x minus h all squared plus k. H and k in this case are the coordinates of the vertex of the parabola defined by the quadratic equation. So if we look at the graph of x, y of the quadratic, we see the roots are defined here and here at y is equal to 0, and the vertex here where the curve turns are at coordinate h and k. So now let's do an example and solve the quadratic, finding its roots and also the coordinates of the vertex. So let's look at 2x squared plus 16x plus 14 equals 0. So let's factorize the x squared terms first. 2 into x squared plus 8x equals minus 14. And now let's complete the square of the bracketed terms. So to complete the square, we need to take b. So the b is the coefficient of the x term, which is 8. We need to divide that by 2 and square it. We need to add this value to both sides. So in this case, we have 64 divided by 4, which is equal to 16. So if we add the value of 16 to the brackets, 2 is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 16 is equal to minus 14 plus 16. Now we have to multiply the 16 by 2 because we have a factor of 2 outside here. So let's now look at the left-hand side, and we have a perfect square trinomial. So that can be written as 2 into x plus b divided by 2. So b is 8 divided by 2. That gives 4. That's all squared is equal to minus 14 plus 16 times 2 is 32. So that equals 18. So now we have the quadratic in the form that we need to find h and k. So h in this case, let's write down h and k equals minus 4 and minus 18. So now we can solve the quadratic and find the roots. So we have 2 into x plus 4 all squared equals 18, which is the same as x plus 4 all squared equals 9. So if we square root both sides, we get x plus 4 is equal to plus or minus square root of 9. So we know that the square root of 9 is 3. So x is equal to minus 4 plus 3, which is equal to minus 1. And x is equal to minus 4 minus 3, which is equal to minus 7. So for exercise 1, solve the quadratic 4x squared plus 20x minus 3 equals 0. Pause the video and see if you can work out the answer. Hopefully you got the answer. Let's work through it. So if we factorize the x terms, we can take 4 out and multiply x squared plus 5x, and that equals 3. Now for the bracketed part, we need to complete the square. So we need to take b, and b is the coefficient of the x term. So b is 5. So b is equal to 5. We need to divide that by 2. And we need to square it. And the result of that is 25 divided by 4. Now if we add 25 divided by 4 to the bracket and to the right hand side, we get 4x squared plus 5x plus 25 divided by 4 equals 3. And 25 divided by 4 is multiplied by 4 because there's a 4 outside the bracket. So it's plus 25 divided by 4 times 4. So these cancel out, and that is equal to 28. So on the left-hand side, the bracketed part is a perfect square trinomial. So we can now write that as 4 into x, and then plus b, which in this case is 5, it's the coefficient of the x term, and that's divided by 2. So plus 5 divided by 2, all squared, is equal to 28. So now we have it in the form where we have the coordinates of the vertex. So coordinates of the vertex h and k are minus 5 divided by 2 for the x coordinate and minus 28 for the y coordinate. So let's solve this now to find the roots of the equation. So dividing both sides by 4, we get x plus 5 divided by 2 all squared is equal to 28 divided by 4 is 7. So square root both sides, x plus 5 divided by 2 is equal to plus or minus square root of 7. So we now have two roots. So x is equal to minus 5 divided by 2 plus square root of 7, and x is equal to minus 5 divided by 2 minus the square root of 7. For exercise 2, let's solve the quadratic equation 3x squared minus 36x plus 42 equals 0. So pause the video now and see if you can work out the answer. So hopefully you got the answer. Let's factorize the x values. So we got 3 into x squared minus 12x is equal to minus 42. So now let's complete the square with inside the bracket. So to complete the square, we have to take b, which is b is equal to minus 12. So it's b divided by 2 all squared. So minus 12 divided by 2 all squared. So that's 144 divided by 4, which is equal to 36. So we can add the value of 36 within the bracket and to the right hand side. So 3 into x squared minus 12x plus 36 is equal to minus 42. Now we have to take the value of 36 and multiply it by 3 because we have a 3 into the bracket. So 36 times 3 is 108. So on the left hand side within the bracket we've got a perfect square trinomial. So that becomes 3 into x minus b divided by 2. So b is 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. And that's all squared is equal to 108 minus 42 gives us 66. So we now have the coordinates of the vertex. So hk will be 6 and minus 66. So now if we solve this for x and find the roots of the equation, if we divide both sides by 3, we get x minus 6 all squared is equal to 22. And we square root both sides. So x minus 6 is equal to plus or minus square root 22. So our two values of x are x is equal to 6 plus the square root of 22 and x is equal to 6 minus square root of 22. So for exercise 3, let's work out the roots of 5x squared minus 4x minus 2 equals 0. Pause the video now and see if you can work out the correct answer. Hopefully you got the answer, so let's work through it. So isolate the x squared term. So we take 5x squared minus 4/5 x is equal to 2. And now we want to make the left hand side within the bracket a perfect square trinomial. So we need to take b, which is equal to minus 4/5, and we need to halve it and square it. So minus 4/5 times a half all squared, that gives 16 over 100. Divide 4 into the numerator and the denominator, you get 4/25. So let's add that to both sides of the equation. So we have 5 into x squared minus 4/5 x plus 4/25 is equal to 2 plus, now we need 5 lots of 4/25 because there's 5 into the bracket. So it's plus 5 times 4/25. So we can take that out. And that is equal to 2 4/5. So that's 14 divided by 5. So the left-hand side within the bracket is a perfect square trinomial. So it can be written as 5 into x minus half b. So b is 4/5 times a half. So it's minus 4/5 times a half is 4 divided by 10, which is 2/5, is equal to 14 divided by 5. Don't forget the square on the bracket. So now we have the coordinates of h and k, so the vertex. So h, k can be found at x is 2/5 and y is minus 14 divided by 5. So now let's solve this to find the roots of the equation. So divide both sides by 5 gives x minus 2/5 is equal to 14 divided by 25. So square root both sides. So x minus 2/5 is equal to plus or minus square root of 14. Now we know the square root of 25 is 5. So now we have our two values of x. So x is equal to 2/5 plus square root of 14 divided by 5, and x is equal to 2/5 minus square root of 14 divided by 5. So for exercise 4, let's solve the quadratic. 3x squared plus 7x plus 4 equals 0. So pause the video now and see if you can work out the answer. So hopefully you got the answer. So let's work through it. So let's make the coefficient of x squared equal 1. So we can do that by taking 3 outside the bracket. X squared dividing 7 by 3 x, and that equals minus 4. So we now need to complete the square within the bracket. So to do that, we half b and we square that result. So b is equal to 7 divided by 3. So half of b, 7 divided by 3 times half multiplied by 2. So that equals 49 divided by 36. So we add that to both sides. So we get 3 into x squared plus 7 divided by 3x plus 49 over 36 is equal to 49 over 36 minus 4, which is equal to 1/12. So now we can see that on the left-hand side within the bracket we have a perfect square trinomial. So let's rewrite that as 3 into x and then plus a half of b. So b is 7/3. So plus 7/3 times a half is 7 divided by 6 is equal to 1/12. So we now have the coordinates of the vertex h and k, which are minus 7 over 6 and minus 1/12. So now let's solve for the two values of x to find the roots. So we can now divide both sides by 3. So we have x plus 7/6 squared is equal to 1 divided by 36. So square root both sides gives x plus 7 over 6 is equal to plus or minus square root of 1/36, which is 1/6. So now we have our two values of x. So x is equal to minus 7 over 6 plus 1/6, and x is equal to minus 7 over 6 minus 1/6. So simplify that even further. So that will give minus 1. And that will give minus 8 over 6, which gives minus 4/3.